Okay. In 3 and 2. So we are digging into the issues affecting local businesses all across the valley. And joining us right now this morning, Ken Evans from the Urban Chamber of Commerce. Ken, good to see you. It's been a while. Thank you for joining us again this morning.
Glad to be here, John. Thank you to yourself and Channel 8 for giving us this opportunity once again to share what's going on with our small businesses.
Well, Ken, the last time we spoke was kind of before the quarantines and the shutdowns and everything. We know it's hard out there for business owners. What are you hearing from folks that are in the Urban Chamber about how they're trying to survive and just the difficulties they're dealing with right now?
I'd say it falls into two categories. First, you have some of the small businesses that are managing to maybe keep a small restaurant open, for example, and what they're going through is a significant revenue drop, but they are able to keep a small staff on board. In addition to that, curbside service, and now with the recent announcement, some of them are able to open up as long as they adhere to the COVID-19 restrictions, but again, still a challenge. And then the second category would be some of the businesses that still as of yet have not been able to open, and so there's a huge degree of uncertainty with what the future looks like for them.
How many businesses are going to be able to make it through this that you deal with at the Urban Chamber? Some are able to survive, but we've heard a lot of businesses that just simply aren't going to be able to make it.
It's definitely going to be a significant loss, and that's something we're concerned about. Right now, we're trying to help people get through the immediate response, we'll call it, which has been the past couple of months. But just as importantly, we're also trying to make sure people know that we can mobilize some resources like SCORE, the Nevada Small Business Development Center, and some of the other resources we have at the Urban Chamber to help people get a recovery plan in place, which hopefully looks at their finances, their operations, and then a marketing effort to let people know that they're relaunching or that they're still around.
You mentioned the recovery, the programs that are available. The big one, of course, is the PPP, the federal government response. How are you trying to educate business owners on how to try and tap into that to, they say stimulus, but it's really just sort of trying to tread water right now?
Absolutely. That's a great way to look at it because if you are able to get the PPP funds, the idea is that'll give you about 8 weeks worth of revenue to support your payroll, possibly some other peripheral approved expenses. But yes, there are still some payroll protection funds out there. Unfortunately, the first round, several of our small diverse businesses were left out, but very good to see that our congressional delegation came through and others to get $60 billion at the federal level allocated, of which quite a bit of that money ended up in Nevada designated for minority-owned firms. So now we have community development financial institutions, some of the smaller credit unions, and some of the smaller community banks that do have money right now for PPP funds for some of the businesses that were left out before.
Have there been any, unique challenges you've heard about from businesses in the Urban Chamber to try and get that PPP money, to try and get some of the assistance?
Yes. Two things. First of all, initially there was a challenge with bandwidth in terms of getting their application in there. And then, as I mentioned, unfortunately, in some of the previous rounds, some of our small diverse businesses, minority-owned businesses, were nosed out, if you will, by some of the larger small businesses. But I think we're now at a point where, again, at the Urban Chamber, we're connecting people to community development financial institutions or CDFIs that have a dedicated amount of money to ensure that our small businesses, our chamber members, can get the PPP funds that they need. And we have had some success doing that.
And that is certainly good to hear. One area of some potential business growth is Allegiant Stadium. We talk about the Las Vegas Raiders starting play, hopefully soon. Who really knows with sports right now and the new project there. Let's talk about what the Urban Chamber is doing to try and get some minority businesses into the arena, connected with the Raiders, and to take advantage of this new place to try and get some business going.
Absolutely. One of the things we've been doing is we've been making sure that we get people the word that there was a Stadium Authority Board meeting had a great update by ASM Global, which is the master operator. They'll be responsible for the next 30 years for ensuring that the stadium is operated, but operated in a manner where there is inclusion and diversity in terms of the suppliers and vendors that help to operate the stadium. Happy that there is a local women-owned, minority-owned firm, happens to be an Urban Chamber member, MYS Project Management. They're working in partnership with ASM Global to make sure that the people that expressed an interest in participating with the stadium are contacted, followed up with, and given an opportunity to compete and succeed in the operation of the stadium. So that's good news.
Absolutely, very good news. Ken, thank you very much for joining us here to talk a little bit about what's going on in your business and other businesses around the Valley. We know it's really hard out there, so thank you for the work that you're doing for the Urban Chamber of Commerce. Appreciate it, Ken.
Thanks, John. Glad to be able to do this. And again, we want to continue to be a resource to our small, diverse business community.
Good stuff. Was there anything that we missed, Ken?